Fernando got the dash all put back together, got the A-pillars on, it's all screwed in. Now it is time to tune this thing and make it sound at the best that it can possibly do. We're doing the front stage upgrade on this, and the reason why we did it that way is because he wants it to have imaging and awesome equalization and everything that we can do by pushing this radio as far as we can. The first thing we're going to do in that is get our center image set up. To do that, we fade it to the front and we play Sheffield Labs polarity pulse. It's the same pulsing sound that we use when we're testing the polarity in the door. Start playing the polarity pulse, go to your position, and the Kenwood, it has front, left, and right. You can pick whichever seat you want. You can adjust, you can get levels, you can pick all front, all, which is how it comes from the factory. We're sitting in the left front seat, so we want to adjust that one. So we'll go into the adjust mode. And the one thing you see is there's already numbers in here. If it's working the way you want it to, meaning you're pretty happy with the way it sounds, then you can leave it. Otherwise, go in and set everything to 0, which we don't need to listen to the popping. So we'll adjust. And it takes a couple minutes because you gotta. Alright, we've zeroed everything out. This is just a quick, easy way for us to do this. We'll press play. Right now the sound is coming from this corner here. Now depending on the radio you have, start adjusting this speaker's delay. If it starts to move this way across the dash, you're adjusting the right one. Now, and what I mean by that is, even though this is the one you're supposed to be adjusting, sometimes in these radios, you actually have to adjust that one in order to move this one across, just because of the way the DSP is made up. As you can hear, I don't know if you can hear that, but there's a huge echo in here. Put this one back to 0, and we'll start moving this guy. Starting to move over. And if you look at the display here, you'll see why it's creating that delay by adjusting this, because you see that it hasn't added any milliseconds delay to this. It's actually adding the milliseconds of delay to these other speakers. Proper seating is also very important. So if I'm sitting here, this is how I drive. So I want to make sure that I'm looking this way. Obviously when you turn your head, you're doing this, it's going to change. But for the initial set, you don't want to turn your head like this, because that's changing where your ears are. So look forward, and if you have to close your eyes, close your eyes. It still sounds like it's about here. And when you do this, it'll also change a little bit. So this is why we tape measure our seats before. Now keep in mind, this is a radio. It's playing both the mid bass and the dash speaker at the same time. You're just trying to get it as close as you can. That actually sounds pretty good. I'm gonna pause it. I'm gonna go back to my fader. I'm gonna fade it all the way to the rear, and I'm gonna repeat the process. And what I'm looking to do here is have it sound like the sound is coming from right here down the middle. That's actually pretty close. I'll go back into my balance and fader, center it up, and that's it. We're pretty good. Now if I want the rears to sound like they're further back, I can add equal amounts of delay to both of them, and that'll push them back even further. So right now I'm at a half a foot, so I'm going to add a half a foot to this one, and I'll add another half a foot to this side. And that's pushed them back further, and it really emphasizes this front. I like to get into the EQ. For that, we're going to use the audio control iTest mic and an iPad. For equalization, there again, I like to put the microphone up here. You can move it around a little bit. There again, it's a radio. It's just got to be good. I'm going to use the Educar Test and Tune app for my pink noise. There's only so many things you can get rid of, and me talking, of course, is changing it. This is the first go around to see what it looks like, strictly using pink noise. Before you go any further, go in and make it a memory preset. And on a Kenwood, you hit memory, you hit preset select, and now it is burned into there. The reason why we do that is because, you know, you can make up to 4 memories, but we need to start somewhere. And the weird thing about using a radio is that sometimes you're going to add some of this back in just because it doesn't sound the way it's supposed to, and other times you're going to leave it and remove it when I'm doing anything. And I play it every time. It is hella good, but no doubt. If you make an adjustment, make it another memory. That way you can A/B between the two, which is what I just did there. I also went in and I adjusted the time alignment slightly. Now that we're playing music and we have some equalization, it seemed like it was over just a little bit too far. However, I will say my hearing does suck on that side, and I'll have Fernando sit over here to double check it, and he'll probably go, no, you had it right. But anyways, so now I can A/B between the two. And I apologize, you guys aren't really getting to hear this song that much, but you know, DRM sucks. I like my preset 1 better. What I'm noticing is when I go to preset 2, it is a little louder, but I'm actually losing some of the stage. So that means that it's not worth it. And the other advantage too is I can now go into sound effects. This is in the Kenwood radios, and I have the ability to adjust space as well as stage. And now I'm going to try and see if those do anything for my sound. Stage EQ is, that for this particular system really didn't work that well. It made it very narrow and almost, I don't know, it was weird. It just had a strange effect. Did you hear that effect? Oh, over here it was almost blinding. Space enhancement, small, actually added a little bit to it. It kind of kept my EQ the way it was sounding previous to preset 2 adjustment, but then also added what I liked about preset 2 into it, but kept all the sound of preset 1. So I'm gonna leave that the way it is. I'm happy with the way it sounds. I need to go into audio memory and select audio setup memory and select yes. I can also lock the system, which will keep the customer out of specific things. I don't want to do that because, hey, it's yours, go have fun. I am going to come into the equalization and I'm going to select memory, and I'm going to make preset 2 as well as preset 3, and then I'll also do preset 4 my setting. And the reason why I like to do that is so that if he gets in here and he adjusts it, and let's say he makes his own preset 1, he can always go back and just recall one of my other memories. Then the other cool thing that the Kenwood radios have is all source. Once I hit all source here, it's going to take this EQ setting and put it all the sources across the board. The reason why that is cool is that if you are listening to your phone and you change the EQ setting and you just mess it all up, you can go back to radio, open up the EQ, hit all source, and it'll take your old EQ setting and put it back onto the source that you messed up. So it helps you retain things so you don't always lose an EQ setting if you start playing with stuff, which really is kind of depressing. This system is set up, this is ready to go, it's deliverable. Hang on. That can only mean one thing, Fernando.
Yes?
Yeah, we're done.
Okay.
I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It's a lot different than what we normally do as far as vehicles go, but as far as systems go, we do a lot of these.
A lot of this, yeah.
Front stage upgrade is becoming one of our most popular installs, and using the deck power to power the rears because it has crossovers and level control. That is the most important thing. I didn't talk about that, but in the crossover settings for the Kenwood, you have the ability to go in and bring the level down for the rear, as well as you can also do it in the time alignment setting. We can bring the level down for the rear. And what that does is that allows us to keep the level in line with the external amplifiers, because there's a different power band as they roll up, and we want to make sure that they stay in parallel with one another. Also, the factory amplifier runs out of power a lot faster than the aftermarket's will. We want to make sure we can turn our volume all the way up to get that full 5 volts of output. Pretty cool.
Yeah, very nice.
It's awesome, it's exciting, but that's it for today.
On to the next one, guys.
You guys have a great night as always. We'll see you later next time.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.